Hello and welcome back everyone. I believe that all the things regarding skeleton system must be clear to you with the previous videos, whether it is regarding your structure, whether it is regarding the function of the skeleton system, whether it is regarding structure of bones, parts of the skeleton system, or it is about joints. So everything was broadly explained in the previous video, and all the things are covered regarding skeleton system. Now it's time to talk about another important system that due to the absence of which the skeleton system will no longer be the functional. Okay, so if this system will be absent in your body, then the skeleton system just a still framework, and it will not be able to function regarding whether it is of movement or something else. Okay, so here I'm gonna talk about your next system, that is muscular system. So this is Aditi Gupta. Let's begin with our muscular system. So now we're gonna talk about the rest part, that is muscular system and its function and different types of muscles. These all we have done, and now the remaining parts will be covered in this throughout the video here. Okay, so what is muscular system? So just have a look at this picture, that it shows that your skeleton system is already covered with some kind of a muscles. These all muscles cover your body and protects your skeleton system. Now what is the skeleton system? If I'll go for the definition, then it says that the muscular system is an organ system in which the body composed of muscle cells and tissues that majorly brings about the movement of our organ or a body part. So what is it saying actually? That it is composed of a muscle cells and tissues. There are a variety of muscle cells and tissues in our body which help us for the movement of our organs or a body part. Now for how it is happening, how it is gonna happen, then how the movement of all the parts are going to happen, we are going to talk about in a deep manner one by one. But initially we should know what is actually a system, what this system works, that the system work for the movement of our organs or a body part. Okay, it also permits the movement of our body, and it also maintains the posture and circulates the body, circulates the blood throughout the body, and maintains the posture. And now there is a 650 muscles. We are having 206 bones. Here we are having a 650 muscles in our body that connects to the bones with the skeleton system with the strong fibers called tendons. Don't get confused between the tendons and ligaments. Previously in our bones we have learnt about the ligaments. Here we are learning about the tendons. So what is the difference? The joints which are joining with the help of ligaments, that are bones, means bones are joining with ligaments, and here the muscles are joining with tendons. Okay, so that is the difference between ligaments and tendons. Now these all about the bones, these all are about the muscles, that what are the muscles and what is the muscular system. Then how the system works, this is the question arise afterwards, that how the whole system works, that how the muscles are working and how it is responsible for the movement of our bones and further organs. So before initiating, let's talk about all these points, that muscles works usually by pulling the bones, they cannot push. Okay, so this is the important point, that it only pulls, means it can pulls, it cannot push. Okay, and means that is a one-way process only. So it is only happening into the one way. Next is, it is basically two separate bones, means if it is working in a one way, so if your muscles will get open, so it will remain open. If it gets closed, so it will remain closed. So no, it doesn't happen, because we require two bones, two basically muscles, two separate muscles for the movement happens to be in a smooth manner. Okay, so that is why the two muscles simultaneously require for the smooth movement of our organs. Each of the muscles pulls of the bones in the opposite direction. Everything is gonna clear with this example right now, that what is each muscles pull the bones into the opposite direction, which leads the movement of the bones. Okay, so now how it is happening, let's take an example. This is an example of an arm muscles. Arm muscles are the muscles which exist in your arms, means in which limbs? That is of 4 limbs. Okay, so it is occurring in a 4 limbs. Okay, so this basically the arm muscles are having two muscles, that is biceps and triceps. Let's have a close look at what is biceps and triceps. This is your bicep, this portion is your biceps, and this is your tricep. Okay, so now let's understand how these biceps and triceps works and how these fulfilling the all above these points. Okay, so now it is how it is happening is here that the biceps one which is on the front arm, this is your front arm, and this biceps contracts means become shorter. Okay, so this biceps becomes shorter. Fine. How it is becoming shorter? These biceps become shorter, contracts, and it pulls the lower arms towards the shoulder. So this is how the arms are getting contracted towards the shoulder, and this is how the movement of your arms takes place. And similarly, the another muscles do the same work, that is triceps, and this triceps do the same function. It also contracts just like biceps were contracting, and it also contracts, and it once it contracts, just see, when this muscle gets contract, then what will the pressure will retain on this the portion, this portion on this portion, the pressure retains on this portion and on this portion, and then the hands will come away from your shoulder. Okay, so now what happens, then your arms or your lower arm will come away from the shoulder just like this. Okay, it comes away from the shoulder once the skin of this pulled by the triceps. This is your tricep, and this is pulled by the triceps towards and it gets contracted, and that's why the hands will get away from your shoulder, and this is how your hands will become open in an open form. Okay, so this is how your biceps and triceps are working here. As so this shows you the example that how the movement minimum two muscles are required, though there are few functions, there are few organs which requires more than two muscles, but several similar, but here minimum you require two muscles to get to be the movement should be in a smooth manner. Okay, so here I have written as a note also that several body movement requires many muscles to work together. Okay, it doesn't requires only two, sometimes it requires more than two muscles to work together just to perform the function of an organ. Okay, so this is how your muscles actually works, and that's why I have written here that it requires at least movement, basically two muscles. Fine. Now our body is enriched with variety of muscles. We are having different types of muscles allotted with a different kind of works. Each muscles are here for a different kinds of function, and here we'll gonna learn in this that what are the types of muscles are required for a different functions. So let's begin with the voluntary muscles, that is called stripped muscles also. Then why it is called as a stripped muscles? Okay, first of all, what is voluntary? Fine, so let me tell you what is voluntary. Voluntary means that works under our control. Okay, so voluntary muscles are such muscles. Voluntary means that works under our control, means whenever we want to do, then the muscles will work. Whenever we doesn't want to do, then these muscles doesn't work, then these muscles doesn't perform any function. So say here what is happening here. So these voluntary muscles are performing the functions on the basis of your requirement, on the basis of your desire. So what are the example? Let me tell you the example. These are of hands and legs. Okay, so let me tell you how with the example that if you want to bring your hands, if you want to work with your hands, then only the hands work, otherwise it doesn't work without your desire. Okay, so this is how these voluntary muscles work under your control, under our control, under a human body control. Okay, next is these are attached to the bones, hence it is called skeletal muscles also. Okay, so these are called as skeletal muscles. These muscles are directly attached. Previously I have told you about the biceps and triceps. These muscles directly attached to your bones. Okay, so this red portion you can see here. This is your biceps and triceps. Okay, so these muscles directly attached to your bones, muscles directly attached to your bones, and this is how that's why we call it as an skeletal muscle. Why it is skeletal muscles? Because obviously bones are skeletal. Bones is a skeletal system and it is skeletal muscles. And lastly, why I'm saying it is a stripped muscle? Because they have strips on them. Okay, so just have a look here again, close look of this. You can see here that it is having strips on it. Okay, so it is a kind of strip structure here, so that's why it is also called as a stripped muscle. Fine. So our voluntary muscles are basically stripped muscles also, and our skeletal muscles also. Next type of a muscle is an involuntary muscles. So if voluntary muscles are working on our desire, if voluntary muscles are under our control, so what happens here in involuntary muscles? That doesn't work in our control. Okay, so they are not in our control, so they works on their own basis. Whenever the requirement, when these muscles want the requirement of the function, then they do functions. When they doesn't want any requirement of the functions, then they doesn't do any kind of a function. Okay, so they doesn't work on under our control. Whenever the requirement of these muscles are there, these muscles work as per their requirement. You don't have any control. For example, I have written here internal organs like stomach, intestine, all these stomachs doesn't do any kind of function in that. If we are not having whatever the desire we are having, but it doesn't require here, but the muscles do their functions on their own without any control of us. Okay, next is they don't have strips on them, hence called as a smooth muscles. Okay, they doesn't have any kind of a strips, unlike we were having on voluntary muscles, so that's why we call it as a smooth muscles. You can see it here as well, that it doesn't have any strips on that. Okay, so that's why it is a smooth muscles. Next is our cardiac muscles. Okay, so cardiac muscle basically it is of our heart. This is actually an involuntary muscles. Heart, do you have any have you ever heard that heart works on our under control? Whenever we want, then it pumps our blood? No, it doesn't works on our control. In fact, if it doesn't works, then you people will not be alive. Then we are not be alive. Okay, so this heart will be a involuntary muscles. So obviously it is obvious that it is itself is an involuntary muscle. Okay, so they are involuntary in nature and cause heart to pump all over the body. Okay, so this happens, this do the pumping of the blood throughout the body, and they also have strips on them, just like other. You can see here this also having a strips. Okay, so here this also, these muscles are also having strips on them. Fine. So it is having the property basically of voluntary muscles also, involuntary muscles also. Okay, so involuntary because it doesn't have a control of us, they are working on their own desire. These are present in our heart. Okay, and they are also have strips. So strips property is of voluntary muscles and they are involuntary, so this is the property of involuntary muscles. So basically it is the mixture of both. But yeah, this is different. Because why it is different from both the muscles? Because if this muscle stops working, then no other function requires further. You are all the functions are coming after this. Once it will work, then you people will alive, then your other muscles will work, other organs will work smoothly. Okay, so these are our 3 types of muscles: voluntary, involuntary, voluntary, involuntary, and cardiac muscles. So these are 3 types of our muscles. Now it is clear all about our muscles, skeleton, everything. Now if the organ is there, if we'll talk about in a general way of a human also, so then the function should be proper to be a healthy person. Okay, so if the function should be a proper in a healthy person, so means all the things should be, all the organs, whether it is organs, bones, or muscles, it should be healthy. Then it will do the work in a proper way. If you feel, just imagine, if you feel unhealthy for just half an hour or an hour, then you people doesn't want to work for a day even also. So you doesn't want to work, you feel so low from inside, you doesn't want to work anything. So similarly happens to our body. If our organs or if our some part of our body is unhealthy, it doesn't getting such kind of a nourishment, if doesn't getting a nutrients in that, so that will not perform good functions, that will not perform the functions which is actually required. So it is obvious that we should have to keep our bones and muscles also healthy. So just have a look of these pictures here. First, what I am showing is vitamin D, then protein, here milk, and these are your healthy exercises, and calcium. So basically these all are the nutrients or nourishment which is required to our bones and muscles. So there are something which I've jotted down some points here, that you have to keep it, remember that what are the basic things which are required to keep your body, bones and muscles healthy. So we should eat lots of vegetables, green leafy vegetables, or healthy vegetables in our daily diet. So vegetables are very much required to keep our body healthy. Next is, which we usually don't do and which we neglect to do in our daily life, but it is a very much requirement. It is a very much important thing which we have to do to perform healthy exercises. Okay, if you want to keep your body flexible, you want to keep your body healthy to be if we'll talk about a basic machine in a general way also, then if you will just take an example of your car. If you will not use that car for a week even also, then for a week, leave it for a week. If you will not use it for a day even, then next day the machine will create a problem in getting or regenerate or restart. So same thing happens in our body. Body is a machine now. It's an amazing machine. So if you will not provide a fuel is what? Nutrients. And if you will not use it more and more, then your body also creates the problem. So here that is why, if you want a flexibility in your muscles, and if you want that your bones should be healthy, then your muscles should be flexible or healthy, then you have to perform your exercises daily. Okay, now consume enough protein, calcium and vitamins. These all are minerals, protein and vitamins that are very much required just to it is a fuel, and if machine wants to work in a proper way, so it requires a proper fuel in it. So this works as a fuel, and you have to consume a proper protein in a diet, which can be your meat, eggs, chickpea, cottage cheese, etc. And you should have to be eat calcium food, okay, which you can get it in a milk or milk made products. Fine. So it can be a curd, it can be a cheese. Fine. So next is you have to take vitamin D in a plenty of amount, and vitamin K2 for your healthy bones and muscles. Okay, and examples I have mentioned, that fish, leafy, and these all are the examples. And now avoid very low calorie diet. What I am saying, calorie means you have to take a proper calorie to your diet which is required for a calories. What calories means, whatever the nourishment is, whatever the energy required throughout the day, you have to take it in any way, whether it is getting into in the form of milk, whether you are taking in the form of vegetables. So all the calories should be taken, and you don't have to take any low calorie diet. Means it should be rich, your diet should be rich with calories. So this is all you can do for the healthy bone and muscles. Now one more thing you can do to avoid any kind of retardation in your body or something, which is posture. So what is posture? Posture is basically the way you can sit or stand. Okay, the way you have to sit or you can stand, this is called posture of your body. So you have to always sit or stand straight. We don't have to slouch or hunch or slumping. Okay, what is slouch? You can see in this picture that you don't have to bend while sitting. Okay, you don't have to bend while walking or carrying any kind of heavy stuff, and you don't have to bend while standing. That is called slumping. So if you are bending while carrying stuff, then it is called hunching, and if you are bending while standing, then it is called slumping. So avoid all these things to have your body healthy. Okay, so bad postures creates problems in the spines. Your spine is here, no? So this, obviously, if you will have a bad postures, then it will create the problem in your spines and other part of your skeleton system. Fine. So this is all about your posture, and I guess everything must be clear to all regarding whether it is your skeleton system or whether it is of your muscle system. And now you are very much clear about this also, that how both the muscles are working simultaneously and both are dependent on each other, how skeleton system can't work without muscular system, and muscular system should have to be stronger just to take all the functions in a smooth manner. So that's all for this whole chapter, for this whole topic, skeleton and muscular system. Hope you people have understood everything. Stay safe and good. Bye.